Welcome to Season 5 of the Manufacturers Network. Real talk with the people building what's next in manufacturing. And now your host, Lisa Ryan.
Hey, welcome to the Manufacturers Network podcast. I'm Lisa Ryan, and I'm excited to introduce our guest today, Sarah Morgan. Sarah is a toolmaking apprentice at R&D Leverage, an Adler Company, and was recently honored as the 2026 Apprentice of the Year by Mold Technologies Division. Her story is a reminder that manufacturing offers incredible opportunities for people who are curious, willing to learn, and ready to tackle challenges head on. So, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So let's start at the beginning. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did manufacturing first get on your radar?
I'm from a manufacturing background. My mom is from a line of foundry owners. She used to own a foundry that she just sold to one of her top customers. And my dad used to make or manufacture circuit boards. And so I helped working with him a lot because it was safer than the foundry was.
Yeah.
So I worked with him quite a bit when I was younger, went into work with him. And then from there, I had a lot of family friends that were in different areas of kind of blue collar and manufacturing type of work that would give me a handout and be like, oh, you want to try this or do some of that? So I've done quite a few different like landscaping. And I used to work for a plastic molding company, which funny enough, now we make molds for plastic products. Yeah.
And you shared a little bit about your background. Most people don't grow up saying that they want to be a mold maker. So what sparked your interest and made you think about this? You know what? I want to give this one a try.
So it kind of helped that I was working for that company that molded plastic products. I was working for Midwest Plastics that are located right down the street from here in Lee Summit. And I just ground down poorly molded products in a plastic grinder so that they could reuse them. And I was doing that while I was still a senior in high school, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I didn't know where I'd necessarily get in that company. And while I was still in high school, I was given the opportunity to do a manufacturing tour through just a few different businesses throughout Lee Summit to kind of get a feeler of, hey, maybe you can reach out, do a job shadow, any sort of maybe start of an apprenticeship. So since I was kind of already doing something in a plastics background, I figured I'd reach out to R&D Leverage and see if I could get my foot in the door, maybe try something out. So I did job shadowing and later got employed, and I've been here for almost 4 years.
That's awesome. Let's go back to high school, because when I work with these manufacturers all the time, I tell them how important it is to get involved with people as they're coming up through high school before they graduate, because that's really pivotal as far as when you're deciding what you're doing. So how was your high school program? What was the managers? Just give a little bit of background on that experience and what your high school does.
Yeah, they've developed really far in the past couple of years. I'm actually on the iTech board of trying to help manufacturers partner with schools. And it's very helpful when the school districts that have those iTech classes. So I didn't really start any of those till late junior year. I did a material processing class that kind of gave you a feel of a little bit of everything, some woods, a little bit of welding, metalworking, and to give you an introduction into what else you'd want to do. So then I ended up doing some metalworking and woodworking classes. And then when I was told about the opportunity of working here, then my teacher, Mr. Whisker, there was the best in mentoring me and kind of what classes to take. And he got me into a Mastercam class and CAD so that I can kind of start to get those blueprint reading skills and dimensioning skills, and trying to show me tools that are often used in machining workforces and fields. But yeah, since after that, then I was able to pair and work together between the company and the school and with the counselors and all district members to try and help me do a work release with harder hours or different, something that could get me further than just a basic couple hour work release at the end of the day at the school day. And sorry.
Oh, no. Does your school reach out to different companies in the area, or do they get in touch with the school for you to check out go on the different plant tours that you did?
I want to say it was R&D and a couple other companies. It was both. There was a big lack in my kids of my generation and just younger people being able to fill the roles of those who were retiring, and especially in like machining and just a lot of blue collar and manufacturing workforces. So and our company has been reaching out to us trying to be like, hey, at whichever avenue, kid, person, whatever is interested in the line of work, please say something. Because you never know. There's a lot of areas in manufacturing that you can always find your niche if you're looking for that kind of work.
Yeah. Once you started, what surprised you most about working in manufacturing? Was it different from what you expected it would be?
The precision aspect of it, we're a precision shop. It is crazy to realize how small of a tolerance things can be. Such different things like press fits and slip fits of different things, and just the preconceived notion that people like to put on shops. A lot of the people here are great, and people that I know in the plastics industry and manufacturing industry that I've met would have rather done anything they can to make sure that you excel and progress and learn something than want you to falter back or anything like that.
Yeah. So you were recently named 2026 Apprentice of the Year, so congratulations for that.
Thank you.
What does that recognition mean to you, and what lessons have helped you to succeed so quickly?
It's been very crazy. There's been as my name has been out there because of the award, there's been a bunch of people that have reached out just to try and be like, there's an importance to the pride you put in your work, the amount of time and everything that you do within manufacturing in the plastics world. It's like a big old cobweb is what I've noticed. And it's like recognition is not even have to be a big thing just for people to notice that you're trying or that you care about this industry or that you want to be further than you are. And it's been very cool.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Now, you mentioned your high school teacher. I think you said Mr. Whistler. So who were the other people who influenced your journey? Or was there someone who encouraged you or gave you opportunities when you were just getting started besides him?
Yes, my shop teachers did a lot for me. And my first mentor that I had here at the company instilled a lot of basic machining practices that I still think of all the time, and as well as my mentor for tool making. He's taught me everything I know about assembly and putting things together. But not only that, just the job that I had before this, I was in a similar line of work, and he knew I would soon be setting up and trying to come over to this company. Because funny enough, he actually had worked here before he started his own company, and he did what he could, had given me some of his stuff and for machining and tools, and just to make sure I can progress in my career. It's been fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that you've heard this before with as many people as you've had reaching out to you just because of your age and your generation. Manufacturers everywhere are always trying to attract younger workers. So from your perspective, what are companies missing? What would make someone your age stop and say, that sounds like a place I'd like to work? So both ends of the spectrum, what's missing and what's working?
I might need a second to think about that one.
It's fine. Well, let's start with what's working first. What are the companies doing right that either obviously the one that you joined, but others that you've been in contact with that maybe you started referring your friends to?
I think a lot has to do with visibility, making sure that company is out there or what kind of people that they're looking for. This company, R&D, is nothing I would ever have tried to put a job application out for or try to right out the bat out of high school without knowing what kind of college experience I would need or if I would what I need in order to start my job here until they reached out to my school or had been posting or said that we are even looking for apprentices. We will teach you if you don't know or steer you in the right direction for you to continue working in this line of work, which dissolving the fear of, am I good enough for this job? How hard is it when you start? And them telling you, like, it's okay if you don't know very much. We'll try and help you get there. That's very nice to have from a company.
So besides the hands-on support and advice that you've given, have they sent you for certificate programs? Are you going to college? What is there, both formal and informal education involved, or what are you doing?
Yeah, we have a tuition reimbursement program, and for my first 2 years, I took NCC classes and got really close. Haven't completed it yet, but close to getting my associates in toolmaking from NCC. But then on top of that, we partner with the KC's chapter of NTMA, and I've been able to do as many classes as I continue to email and say, unload some more on my account for me to keep going. There's plenty of almost anything that I've been able to find or wanted to do, and I'd be like, hey, this looks cool. It'd be beneficial for me learning, furthering my role here. They've never been shy to say no.
That's awesome. Yeah. And just so you know, I remember I was actually on the 14-year plan for college because I was working all day and going to school at night. And I remember my friends saying, do you know how old you're going to be when you finally get your degree? And my response was exactly the same age as I'd be without it. Just going through, sometimes we get overwhelmed with stuff, but it sounds like you're in really good hands when it comes to giving you the education and support that you need through that process.
Yeah, I did the beginner's fault where I overloaded. I had a full-time schedule while still working full-time, and I did that for about a year, and then I fizzled out. But
mine was two classes a quarter. This is when they still had quarters, and it was Tuesday and Thursday nights from 6 to 10. Man, it was grueling. I can't even imagine a full load.
I burnt myself down real good. But yeah, I took a little break off, but just started going back.
Yeah. So if you could sit down with a manufacturing CEO or plant manager, what's something that you would like them to understand about recruiting and developing younger talent?
I think a lot of it, you have to be able to also know the individual, not only be able to teach them or have them imprint the same information, because there's some mentors or some people that are like, this is the way certain things are taught or should be, or the way things have a set rule or a set attitude about subjects, where kind of the flexibility of a mentor on the student, while also, of course, being strict, making sure that they're remembering, paying attention, learning, grasping all the information, goes far. Because the biggest bit I butt heads with people is just that they're set in their ways of how they do things. So then if you do things a little bit different, it sets off the work environment, whereas either way you do it is not wrong. It's just how someone does it or someone else does it.
And I think that technology and AI, for instance, plays a big role. For someone your age, you basically came up with technology and you see the world differently just because what you've had exposed to versus somebody that's working on a plant for 40 or 50 years and is in their ways, set in their ways. So have you seen the reverse mentoring where you're being mentored by them as far as the procedures, but you're also mentoring them as far as just your grasp of technology?
Yeah. I think that's a very interesting and very, I can't think of the word for it, beneficial thing to use, because it's also, and that helps with the relationship, growing the relationship between coworkers, makes the other willing to listen or learn those ways from one another. And I definitely see that all around here as well.
So if someone's listening and they have a son, daughter, or grandchild or student trying to figure out their career or their future, what would you tell them about exploring a career in manufacturing?
I would definitely say it is something that you should try. There's tons of different jobs and job descriptions and even types of manufacturing. I'm just in plastics, and even in plastics, our building has 20 different areas of expertise or different types of jobs that you could have. That if you start at a company and you realize this is what I want to do, but not in this area, not lathe work, not engineering, not programming, then you could try different areas and try and find those companies that will allow you to kind of get a feel of all areas of manufacturing before you have to make a solid choice in what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah. When I also think about when I was in the welding industry way back in the day, and it was all the words, the dark, dirty, dangerous, all of those preconceived notions as far as people who aren't experienced with manufacturing. Now you have a heads up in that both your parents came from that. But for somebody who's not familiar and they're thinking that getting a 4-year traditional college degree is the only way to go, what has been your experience just as far as combating some of those stigmas about or preconceived notions about what manufacturing's really like?
Yeah, it was very stressful for me even going out of high school, because I had no clue. I expected I'm going to have to go to college because I don't know what I'm going to do. But then I knew college necessarily, I didn't know if it would be my route, because I didn't have a major planned or anything like that. And for manufacturing, I'm learning something new every day. And even 30 years in, I will be learning something new every day. And in going to school, there's a lot of, at least the schooling that I've been able to find and go to, MCC and NTMA, a lot of it is very easy to associate most parts of manufacturing. Or I've not gone to any certain thing and be like, oh my gosh, that's so niche or too particular and not anything that I would ever use. So if going and taking a couple classes towards that specific field for you to then get a grasp of maybe this, to try and do it hands-on or in person, or the vice versa of you just going hands-on to find out if that's something you want to take classes on, which the second route is the one I did, are both very acceptable and reasonable when it comes to manufacturing.
That's awesome. So looking ahead in the next couple of years, what excites you most about your career? What do you hope you'll be doing?
I'm excited I'm slowly but surely getting left off on my own in my area. I do ISB and mold making and most of the manual mill work. But right now I'm being mentored by someone who's supposed to be retiring in the next couple of years. So instead of the workload of our area being between two people, it will eventually be just me. And I've been slowly manning more of it on my own than he has, just so that I can be prepared for that day. But yeah, I'm excited and nervous, and it will be a cool experience to be able to run so many things all on my own.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because one of the things that I talk about with my audiences a lot is that transfer of knowledge. Because when your mentor retires, if he or she didn't take the time to mentor you, they're walking out the door with all of that knowledge behind them. So did your company put together like a formal mentoring with this? How is that actually working, that you're able to prepare 3 years in advance so that when that person leaves, not that you're going to have 40 years of knowledge in your head all the time, but you're certainly going to be way far ahead. So what's the program look like for you to get that knowledge?
It has to do in two ways, either with some people will say, hey, I'm projected to retire about this time. And we've had quite a few of our CNC lathe workers that have done that in the past year or so. So they're going to be retiring soon. So that means the influx of the last four or so apprentices or people that have come in, we've aligned them up to be able to just be running lathes. So then when those people are retiring, we have new people continue to run the machines. And then when it comes to my area, it was like a couple of years or a year or so before I had started at the company. My area actually had 5 people in it. And then we went into new ownership, and a lot, I think 3 or so people were cut from our company. So that made my mentor, Vern, all by himself in the area. And he kept telling the foreman that he needed someone. You cut these people, but I still need someone to help me. And then he told me this. He gave me a couple tests here and there, and then would come back and see if I remembered any of them. And then told our foreman that I want to see if she's good in this area to try and be a tool maker or to try and learn something, because I need help and she needs a place in the company. And so that was about 3 years ago, and I'm still working with them.
Every association that I speak to, they keep saying that they have more people leaving the industry than are going. Your company is just, number one, I admire the fact that they listened and gave you and Vern that opportunity to work together, because it sounds like you're creating really something special between the two of you, not only for the value of the two of you, but the long-term value for your organization.
Yeah, and the fact that, as soon as I was just through or about through my first 6 months of getting to learn all the hand tools and manual machine work was, when I was able to move to a different area. And that's when I moved over to tool making. And it just continued from there because we were able to keep up with it a lot more than just one person would be. And it's made me know or have a better idea of where this company or industry can get me.
That's awesome. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you today. If people did want to learn more about R&D Leverage, or perhaps get in touch with you to ask you some similar questions as far as what they can do to find people like you, what's the best way to get in touch?
Yeah, R&D has a rnd.info page that you can email about any question or hiring or otherwise about what we do.
Sarah, I really enjoyed our conversation today. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Me too. Thank you so much for inviting me to this call.
I'm Lisa Ryan, and this is the Manufacturers Network Podcast. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Manufacturers Network Podcast. If this conversation gave you something to think about, share it with someone else who will get it. And hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next.